All right, week 9, Monday Night Football. I'm a little bit more excited tonight about the guests that we got on than the Cardinals-Cowboys game. A little bit of a snooze fest. Picked it up at the end. I want to cue the Cam Newton I'm back meme because he's back. If you've tuned into the show for a while, he's been around. He's the number one supporter. Can't tell you how much I appreciate the man. 7 o'clock, my guy 7. I appreciate you staying up for the game, being here, man. I missed you, bro. How you doing?
I'm blessed. Thank you for having me. Got me on the intro, dude. Like, life is good.
Come on.
Life is good. We woke up, dude. Life is good, man.
Yes, sir. And, hey, your Steelers been balling this year. They've been looking not too bad. Like,
We'll get into it.
We'll get into the Steelers.
Steelers gone Steeler. You know.
Steelers gone Steelers. Hey, it's good to see you, man. I got a few awesome games I want to recap with you. As you all know, the drill, it's JV back on the JV show. Monday night recap tonight with 7. We're going over Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. Panthers upset the Packers and wrapping things up with the Steelers. I got to apologize. I'm still overcoming a cold, so the voice might be a little on and off tonight, but that's why we got 7 here to fill in the gaps a little bit, take over. First and foremost, 7, let's talk about the game we just watched. Arizona Cardinals 27, Dallas Cowboys 17. The topic that always circulates the NFL when the Cowboys lose, 1995, the last time the Cowboys saw an NFC conference championship. That's how bad it's been. You know, I genuinely feel bad for this fan base, 7. I know, like, when they come back, they're going to be annoying as hell. Like, you know that, right? Like, it's the same thing with the Pats. They've seen to get their spark going now, and their fans are just going crazy.
Yes.
But I genuinely feel bad for what they have to deal with. Dak is overpaid. $60 million is an insane contract. No matter how good he's been this year and how much of a great character he is, I really like Dak as a personality. But $60 million is just absurd. You missed on Micah. The defense is severely struggling. Bland and Diggs are overpaid. I don't know why they're paying Bland. He was barbecue chicken tonight against Marvin Harrison. It's just collapsing. The ownership, the coaching, it's all terrible. It's been a pretty bad 3 decades for the Cowboys, 7. I haven't been alive to see them in a conference championship game.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. And unfortunately, until Jerry steps down or is no longer with us on this earth, the same thing is going to continue. You know, they're in the publicity business. They're not in for winning championships. And I think Cowboys fans just got to realize that. They always sign players way too late, overpay. They love the drama. They love to be in the media. They're the media champions. That's who it is. They're not the people's champions anymore. They haven't been relevant in the sport of football for, 30 years. Yeah, I was 11. I'm 41 years old.
I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. And it's gotten to the point, I think, these last 5 years that the chance of this is our year, like, we just don't even believe it. Like, at first it was all a joke and all, but now it's like year 30, and you're like, you know, it's getting pretty sad. Like, the fans don't even want to make the chance because they know what to expect at this point. And another game tonight where you have an opportunity to, I think, go 500, 4-4-1 with the tie against the Packers, you know, kind of salvage a season. Maybe you make the playoffs. The team just isn't there, obviously, but maybe get some hope. Now you're looking at a tank for a top 10 draft pick. Like, that's what it has to be. You need to draft. You need to get new guys in the system because you got a huge contract at quarterback. You got CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens has looked really good this year, but it's a one-year thing. Next year, he needs to be paid. Are you going to bring him back? Who knows with Jerry? So it's pretty embarrassing. And on the other side of the ball, 7, the Cardinals, who had Kyler Murray starting the year, have looked a lot better offensively, I'll say, these last 3 weeks. And what I'll say about Jacoby Brissett has completely exposed Kyler Murray, in my opinion. I don't think Kyler is the franchise quarterback. I don't even think Kyler's around by the start of next year. I think they make a decision, a business decision with Kyler. Watching this offense these last 3 weeks with Brissett, the offense is 100% more efficient and way more fun to watch with Brissett at the helm. He's a field general. He commands the offense real nicely. That drive after the half, he marched down the field with like 5 plays, scored a touchdown. He's had 3 games of 250 yards and 2 touchdowns already this year. Kyler had 3 of those all of last year. Didn't have a single one this season. The Cardinals as a team haven't been able to close out games this season, but Brissett has looked like a really good quarterback. He's a good football player. So like I said a few weeks ago on the show, I think it's a mix of Jacoby Brissett is a really good quarterback and Kyler Murray just isn't the guy. I think those are both equally true. And at the end of next year, even if it's Brissett starting, I think the Cardinals got a better shot with him because Kyler's too hectic. He runs around. There's no consistency. At least with Brissett, you know what you're getting. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and with the price tag of a Brissett, you can actually build the defense, build the O-line, and maybe bring in a Pickens to play opposite of Harrison. You know, you have so many more options. Move Kyler. I don't know what his value is right now. I mean, he's still a starting quarterback in the league, but he's definitely not in the top 16 anymore. He can't stay healthy. And to be honest, he was drafted by the Oakland Athletics, now in Sacramento. He's a baseball player. He's a baseball player. He has a second baseman's body, but he's playing quarterback, and it's just not working. Maybe a change of scenery might do him well, but at the end of the day, the Cardinals need to make a business decision, and that is either to make Jacoby the starting quarterback, or move on with both quarterbacks and bring in just some fresh new blood next season.
Well, I'm not a big baseball guy, Seven, but I'll tell you, with seeing those big contracts with Ohtani making billion damn dollars, I bet you any money Kyler's looking at that saying, shit, that could be me. I'm no Shohei, but that could be me.
And the season ends right around when Call of Duty comes out, so it's perfect for him.
It's perfect for him. I think even if he comes back, they start him a game. I just don't think they'll have the same production with Jacoby with Kyler as they did with Jacoby, and they're going to realize that real quick. And I think they're going to have to make a hard decision. Like they tried it with Kyler, they gave it a shot. It's been like 5 or 6 years now. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's not working out, and the team actually isn't that bad. They've played a lot of really close games. They haven't been able to close out, but tonight Walter Nolan in his first game comes out, has a great day. Will Johnson's been really good all year. They bring in Josh Sweat. Like, they have the pieces on defense. And Marvin Harrison Jr., in my opinion, I know he gets a lot of hate, but he's a solid receiver. And he's going to form into one of the better receivers in the league with time, with more experience. He's got a lot of pressure with his dad. So I think with Brissett, the way he looks, without a doubt in my mind, this offense looks far better with him at the helm. I want to pivot now to Sunday Night Football 7. Seahawks 38, Commanders 7. The big two storylines out of the night. The Seahawks looking fantastic. Sam Darnold just awesome this year so far. Picking up exactly where he left off around week 15 last year, I want to say, before they lost to the Lions. And then Jaden Daniels, man, such a depressing way to end the game, to end your season. I believe he's out for the year. It looked pretty gruesome. I want to lift up the mood, talk Sam Darnold, talk Seahawks before we get into that, because Sam Darnold has shocked the world. He won 14 games with the Vikings. People called it a product of Kevin O'Connell, and now he's playing even better in Seattle. He's unlocked every single pass in the books. His stats from last night, 88% completion percentage, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns than incompletions on the day. Every game he'll make a few passes. You're just in awe. Your jaw drops. And you're like, that's the first-round talent that we thought we were getting. Now, he went to New York. It's a complete disaster there. But now we're seeing him shine. As per Mike McDonald, Sam is executing right now is just ridiculous. Sam's execution right now is just ridiculous. I'd pay Sam Darnold $45 million. With how he's playing, with how Minnesota is struggling with their quarterback battle, I'm big on JJ. I love him, but to be honest with you, Sam's the far better quarterback right now. The playmaking, the touch on the ball, man, it's all there, Seven.
They may have made a mistake in letting him walk. I don't know if we'll get to JJ tonight, but he seems more of a game manager. Sam Darnold is someone who's slightly above. Given the right situation and especially the right weapons, he can produce. And the Seahawks are getting him at a discount right now. So kudos for them for moving on from Geno, which looks like a genius move now, with all the interceptions that he's thrown in Las Vegas. And kudos to him for not giving up. You know, people forget he and Baker Mayfield made a road trip, a pit stop in Carolina. Yeah, you know, what would Carolina look like now if they had either Baker or Darnold? So kudos to him for getting on his third, fourth team, never giving up, staying resilient, and really proving the doubters wrong and getting paid.
Well, and we're going to talk about Carolina right away because they actually look, considering what their past has been, not too bad this year. We'll talk about them and the Packers right away. As for the Seahawks, 7, overall, the Seahawks look like a deep threat, a deep playoff threat, in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty with the league right now. You get a team like the Packers who blows out one game and then they lose to the Panthers, right? Or your Bills have been super inconsistent, or your Chiefs have been on and off, kind of on the uptick, then lose to the Bills. There's no alpha right now in the NFL. You could argue maybe the Eagles, but still there's a lot of uncertainty there.
Right.
But the Seahawks, like, you're looking at it as a whole, the offense is humming. Sam Darnold is playing the best football of his career. JSN has had 4 straight 100-yard games, 6 on the season. It's pretty remarkable what he's done considering DK and Tyler Lockett exiting that receiver room. Mm-hmm. The run game's been all right. It hasn't been elite by any means, but they got the talent back there with K9, Charbonnet. The guys are there, and the defense is buzzing under Mike McDonald. These last few games, they've been awesome. The team hasn't had 20 or more points put against them since October 5th. They're an awesome team right now, and they're buzzing. Now it's all about stringing it together in the playoffs. Where do you have them, like, in the rankings of the NFC? Maybe your Eagles at the top, Packers obviously playing well, Lions, but you think the Seahawks, like, have a shot, or they're at least a dark horse?
Oh, I mean, this is always one of those difficult ones, right? Where it's like, we saw Sam Darnold look amazing in, a 14-15 win Minnesota team, but as soon as the playoffs came, as soon as it mattered, because he was even before the playoffs, but when the division was up for grabs, he kind of disappears. So I got to see him do it when it matters. I feel comfortable saying 4. Maybe top 3, maybe 3 or 4. I think that's fair without, they're still not proven. I love that secondary. I love those 2 corners. Like you said, they got a lot of good things going for them. Maybe it might be a year too soon. But right now, I feel comfortable saying 3 or 4 in the NFC.
Well, I think anybody at this point can make an upset come the playoffs.
Oh,
and with the Seahawks, like, the way that they're just moving right now, and it seems like they got this momentum that they're carrying, and I didn't personally expect it to be this good. I thought Sam Darnold was great last year, but I didn't think he could replicate that in Seattle without a Jefferson and an Addison. All you really got is JSN, and he's really popped out this year. But they just straight out dominated the Commanders from start to finish. And the Commanders, who put up 7 total points, are just shooting themselves in the foot with plays, penalties, turnovers, whatever you name it, and now with Jaden Daniels. I mean, Dan Quinn playing Jaden Daniels in the fourth quarter, it's an unforgivable mistake. You're down more than 30 points. It is coaching malpractice to have your franchise's future on the line. And for him to shatter his elbow like that, all hope is lost. Your defense is old, bruised, battered. The playmakers on offense, 7, they're old. Terry McLaurin's 29 years old. Debo's getting up there in age. Nobody on this team has youth. Like, there's really nobody you can count on. And now your future in Jaden Daniels is out for the rest of the season, is banged up. And what do you think his mentality is now going into the injury with the way the Commanders were playing to end the season? Probably pretty bad. I just thought it was unbelievable that they were playing him at that point during the game.
Given the situation, we all know the RG3 story. We all know Jaden Daniels was number 2 overall, just like RG3. We know the same Commanders, Washington, scenery, DMV area. Why? It didn't make sense. They don't have a running game. They don't have anything going for them. It made it seem like last year was just a fluke. Teams caught on. He can't stay healthy. They're not doing enough to protect him. They did try to bring in Laramie Tunsil. I give him a little bit of credit for that, but I don't even know where they go from here. They signed an older receiver who was holding out. They should have just let him hold out and stay out. He hasn't been there all season. Scary Terry ain't so scary after all. I don't know what to say anymore.
Well, I really liked Terry going into this year. I think Terry is a model receiver. He doesn't really complain a lot, or he didn't prior to this holdout. He was kind of just neutral, rolled with a ton of different quarterbacks, always produced 1,000-yard seasons. So the money he deserved to get paid because of his production over the years in Washington. But when somebody referred to me and was telling me, like, he's 29 years old, I was stunned. I honestly couldn't believe it. It didn't click to me that he's been in the league for quite a long time without a big contract. So although it was almost necessary that they pay him tribute for what he's done for these past 5 or 6 years, you kind of put yourself in a pickle. And I hate to say it, but last year seems like a Cinderella run with this team. They got to the conference championship. They looked really good, but it was momentum-based. And now you're the oldest team in the NFL. Jaden Daniels out for the rest of the season. You're missing the playoffs. It just doesn't look good. And you hate to see it, but it was just shocking to me, Seven. Like, for the life of me, I couldn't understand what was going on. And I think the Commanders are now further away from a Super Bowl, which is crazy to say, than they are closer to it. I don't know if you'd agree there, but it seems like that.
No, we'll see how they do next year, but this year they've got to replace Eckler. I think Debo, they don't need to bring him back. Zach Ertz feels as old as I am. I don't even know the direction. Do you try to connect Ayuk with Jaden Daniels? They were trying to get that trade done. Maybe he comes back healthy and finishes strong with the Niners. Do you try to bring in Pickens? Everyone was all so big on Merritt. He's doing nothing. I mean, I feel like you could average as much as he's averaging in fantasy right now. It's just a head scratcher. Dan Quinn had that defense humming last year. It doesn't seem quite the case this year. Bobby Wagner is just another year older. It's just Jaden Daniels was that one glimpse they had, and they had him in the game when he shouldn't have, and now he's done for the season.
It just feels like one of those houses you step in and, there's like this new product, like there's this new couch, this modern couch, but everything's like old. It's like an old cabin. You got to renovate, and it just seems like it's not working, and you could almost see it developing, like looking at the average age on this roster. It's going to take a few drafts of really good draft capital and guys coming in who can produce immediately to get this thing going again and get spinning, because you look at teams like the Panthers, who just beat the Packers, who upset them. They were 13 points down on the odds. It's crazy, but these young teams look a lot better and more promising, in my opinion, with how they're building than the Commanders, who are old as hell right now. Panthers 16, Packers 13-7. Honestly, I didn't even watch the game.
Yeah.
I thought, as good as the Panthers have been all year, they've been pretty solid. The Packers coming off a huge win. They're going to blow these guys out. No chance. And I was stunned to see this W, but your classic trap game. They did it against the Browns. They do it against the Panthers again. Bryce Young is finally hitting his stride in year 3. I wouldn't say he's elite. I won't say he'll ever be elite. I don't think he'll ever be in the top 5, top 8 quarterback discussion. But there's also no denying he's improving and getting a lot better. And he looks like at least the starting quarterback in the league for the majority of reps he's taking for this offense. The throws over the middle, a few deep. He's really great in the intermediate part of the game. I think he's thrown a pretty good ball all year long. There have been, obviously, some drawbacks to his game, but you look at what they've supplemented him with now. Tet comes in. He is awesome. Rico Dowdle is breaking out right in front of us. And you look at his stats right now, he's on pace for 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns. That's not earth-shattering, but for Bryce Young, that's awesome. Those are really good, encouraging stats for a year 3 guy that you almost gave up on last year.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Very encouraging numbers for a year 3 quarterback that you almost gave up on last year. Even despite him having 102 yards and no touchdowns and an interception, they still got the dub. He needs more weapons. I think Xavier isn't the guy. Leggett, just not the guy. They tried to bring in Hunter Renfrow. I think he's just a year 2 removed from being relevant in the NFL and just being a contributor. Maybe get him a tight end this offseason in the draft. They've got a lot of good pieces. Unlike Washington, they've got some young core pieces to highlight and look forward to moving forward. I think they just need to give him a couple more weapons. It's a pretty soft division. No one really plays defense. They've got a good as chance as anyone next year.
They do, and for a team that I think a lot of people thought was probably winning 3 or 4 games, this is a huge success story. Like a huge success story so far this year. And right now, these last 3 games, that is largely pinned on the fact that Rico Dowdle has been balling. Like, he's looked phenomenal. Rico Dowdle has looked like a top 5 running back in football this year. Like, I'll straight up say it. These last 3 weeks, pure speed and a vertical threat. He's averaged more than 5 yards per carry on the season, which is absolutely absurd at the NFL level to step in as the quote-unquote handcuff or backup. For a lot of people in fantasy, like myself, who are stashing him, we found gold. He's lethal in the passing game, too, which is awesome. He makes guys miss. He can get 50 to 70 yards receiving and tack on another 100 rushing on the year. I can confidently say right now he's better than Chuba, 100%. I don't even think it's close, and it's tough that you paid Chuba 7, but it's honestly not a terrible contract. I think he's like the 15th highest paid running back average per year in the league.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge blow. Like, you can still use him, but Rico Dowdle is the guy right now. Patience in the backfield, finding the gaps in the offensive line. The line has been really good, but every single carry he's getting to the second level, he's been just phenomenal. His worst game this year is 130 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's his worst game as a starter.
Crazy. Maybe they try to ship Chuba before the trade deadline. They did pay him, like you said. It wasn't the most ridiculous contract that they can't move him. If they get anything, 4th, 5th round pick, send him to Kansas City. Kansas City could use a running back. There are several teams in the NFL who could use a true running back. Chuba's no slouch. He did what he did last year, and even in his short stints when he was filling in for CMC, he was serviceable. He's a good back. He's not a great back, and he's relatively affordable.
Well, I think, too, when you look at Carolina, 7, these past few years or the past decade, like, there hasn't been a ton of talent that has come around to this team. So I don't blame them for the second they saw, like, a pretty decent season from Chuba, they jumped at it, right? It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to let the guy walk? Like,
yeah,
you got to do something, right? So I don't blame them for paying him. And at first, I was like, maybe there can be this backfield split of like a Monty Gibbs situation, obviously a lower level of that. But the way I've seen things play out, at least these last 3 weeks, which isn't the whole story, but it's a pretty good picture of it, Rico Dowdle is just clearly outright the better back right now, like by far. And I kind of saw that last year. I kind of saw him play some good ball. I believe he was over in Dallas last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, 7.
Yes.
He was playing pretty good football, but not up to this level. Like, he's had back-to-back 130-plus rushing games. Like, he's phenomenal the way you watch it. And the way the Panthers have developed all year, the Panthers are a huge success story. Bryce Young's playing better. They got the run game down. They got their young number 1 receiver. And the defense against the Packers looked really good. They're 5-4, second in their division, 1 game behind the Bucs. Nobody on this planet expected that out of the Panthers. Nobody. And I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but this is really encouraging. If this was Buffalo, I'd say I'm super pissed. But this is the Panthers, and I think this is a really good step forward for them. I don't know if Bryce is the guy for the future. Like, maybe eventually they move off. I like him just because I think he's a great guy, the way he presents himself. I like to believe in guys like that. But overall, it's been a huge success story. And then you look at the other side, like the Packers, who have just been consistently inconsistent all year. Where do you have them ranked right now, 7? Like, can you even wrap your mind around how this team looks and how they're going to perform on a weekly basis? Like, it seems like they play down to their level of competition, if that makes sense, or play up to it.
They're the Pittsburgh Steelers of the NFC. They look amazing versus Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions week 1 and got everybody talking about Jared Goff as a system quarterback without Ben Johnson or McVay. Week 2, it straight up locked down Jaden Daniels. And then week 3, they lose to the Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco. And it's like, what?
You don't get it.
You just don't get it. You don't get it. They play up to their competition, but they also play down to their competition. They'll be in the playoffs. They lost Tucker Kraft. That's a big blow because he might have been their most consistent receiver. Matthew Golden, it seems like a big miss and a waste of a first-round draft pick early this year. I mean, hopefully he can turn it around, but he's pretty much got close to zero involvement in that offense. And Jordan Love hasn't taken that elite step. He just looks like a good quarterback, but not an elite quarterback.
What I'll say about Jordan Love, Seven, and Matt LaFleur too, Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur are equally great weapons as they are threats for the Packers. I think they're equally the same. You know what I mean? And we've talked in previous years, Seven, about Jordan Love being a little bit of Favre, a little bit of Rodgers. He learned behind Rodgers, and the talent with Jordan Love is undeniable. 100% it's there. I think talent-wise, he can stack up with a lot of the great quarterbacks in the league right now. He hits all three levels on the field. He can throw the deep ball really well, but he also has a knack for turning over the ball and just putting it in harm's way. Now, this year, the interception totals don't necessarily reflect that, but when he does turn over the ball, it's pretty brutal, and sometimes it comes at really costly points during the game. Now, that's every quarterback. I absolutely understand, but it seems like when I watch the Packers, it's just that much worse. Like it's an amplified loss for some reason because it's at such a crucial point during the game, at the end of a half or at the end of a game or when you need a drive or in the red zone. It happens. Again, a few days ago, put it into triple coverage downfield. We saw that last year too. I think he did it multiple times in the game. And then Matt LaFleur, his red zone play calling gets really shaky and it gets a little concerning. Now, you know, I'd advise fans to just pump the brakes on the whole fire Matt LaFleur. Like, I feel like as fans and myself, Seven, I have a tendency to say fire a coach when things aren't going good. Like, there are some coaches right now, like Mike McDaniel, you know, I think he should be gone, flat out. But there are some coaches, you're like, yeah, you know, like Shanahan, he has his weaknesses, but he's also 6-3 with an injury-riddled Niners team right now, right? So, yeah. You got to pick your poison. You got to pick your battles. And with Matt LaFleur won games last year with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Yeah.
And he essentially saved that season and brought them to the playoffs and helped them at least get a shot at a Super Bowl. So as much as he's been a threat, I think you got to pump the brakes with that. But they just seem so inconsistent, man. Like, I don't know. I could argue Jordan Love to be a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. You know, you could argue him that bottom 10. I don't think he's near the top 5, though.
No, not even close. I think we know who the top 5 should be, even top 6. But to add on to your point, you were describing both them and the good and the bad. And all I could imagine is that NFC Championship versus San Francisco where Jordan Love throws the ball across his body, across the field, and ends the game. It's like the pivotal moments, they get the smallest. Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, their last time playing together was when I think he kicked the field goal or punted away instead of going for it. With that offense, the back-to-back NFC championships, largely failure to reach the Super Bowl because of Matt LaFleur getting extra small in the moment. And that's what they're known for. Until they have that big moment breakthrough, they're going to be known for a talented duo that never really got it done. Like the Phoenix Suns in NBA. You know, you had Steve Nash, Mari Stoudemire, you had Sean Marion. You had all this talent, but when it mattered most, couldn't get back past the Lakers. I don't know if they can get past the Eagles. I don't know if they can get past the Niners.
I think, again, like NFC, NFL this year, any given Sunday, something can happen. Like, I think that's something I'm starting – you know, like I think that's something I'm starting to learn, Seven, is – a 7 to 10 point victory in the NFL is a lot more impressive than people give it credit for. Like games are close. I have some friends who were kind of getting into betting a little bit, and they were like, hey, are they going to get blown out? I'm like, the odds are no. Even if it's a bad team, like if you manhandle a team and beat them by 20, 30 points, you really dominated them. Like you really, because these are grown men. These are high-level performance athletes. So a game like this, Packers lost it for themselves, in my opinion. Panthers are a good team this year, but The Packers are clearly the superior talent. They're clearly the better team with a lot more players and guys to use. But I love how you said Tucker Kraft, Seven. That's a huge loss. That is a huge loss people don't understand. They don't realize how crucial he's been for the offense. And again, like there's still no established number one. You go out and you try to make things happen in the draft. It's like, when is it going to click? When are you going to find your guy? It's really odd. And I said they were the Steelers of the NFC to start the season, and I'm rocking with that. And I want to talk Steelers with you here, Seven, to wrap things up because you're a Steelers guy. You've been a fan all your life, I believe. I don't know if you grew up in Pittsburgh or how that link got made. I want to hear where that, kind of started from. But
the origin.
Just how much do you believe in the Steelers this year? Like,
not at all. Not at
you know,
all.
like
I'm not delusional. I'm very self-aware, JV. I hide the gray well, but there's a lot of wisdom behind this baby face. All right, the Steelers are going to be the Steelers. They're going to play around 500 ball. They're going to lose in the wild card, and that's it. They're not playing for championships. They're playing for playoff appearances. They're playing to be above 500. They lose Thursday night, an embarrassing loss to a team with no offensive line and no defense. And then they come back around and beat the MVP-led front-runner team with the best record in the NFL. And it's like, yeah, of course they did. Of course they lost to the Bengals, and of course 10 days later they beat the Colts. No surprise.
Well, there were some Steelers fans going pretty crazy, and it was a 6-turnover game, and they won by 7. I was like, the Colts probably would have won that game had they not handed you 6 turnovers. I think this year I've been really impressed with Rodgers. Seven, I was like completely on board that he was nearing the end of his career, and I'm sure he is age-wise, but he can still sling the rock at a pretty elite level with a clean pocket, and even moving this year, I think he's been really good, moving outside the pocket. He's made some pretty phenomenal throws downfield. Ironically, the defense this year, the highest paid defense in the NFL, Mike Tomlin-led defense, which is always good and a staple, fell off a cliff. They were really good against the Colts, but for the majority of this year, something's off. Something's not clicking. TJ Watt hasn't been nearly as dominant, I don't think. He had a great game against the Colts, forced fumble, strip sack, did it all. I thought he was dominant. Overall, the defense played really good, but, is Tomlin going to get to the divisional round one more time in Pittsburgh? Like, is it going to happen? What's it going to take, Seven? Is it? I don't know. I don't watch the Steelers enough. I'm not a deep enough expert on this team, but all I know is they haven't been a playoff winning team in close to a decade now.
Yes. And, last victory they had in the playoffs was the Vontaze Burfict hit on Antonio Brown where Joey Porter stepped on the field and there was like 2 flags back-to-back and they got in the field goal range. Without that flag, without that hit, they probably don't beat the Bengals, Carson Palmer-led Bengals that season. So it's scary. But again, like you said, there are a lot worse coaches in there. And as a Steeler fan, I'm rocking with my guy at the end of the day, because it could always be worse. Going back to my origin story, my dad's actually from Detroit, Michigan, and I was a Barry Sanders fan as a kid. But when I played Warner football, I got compared to Cordell Stewart, who was a quarterback, receiver, / running back, and his nickname was Slash, and that was me. So all of my classmates, all my peers called me Slash, and I started rooting for him. And then probably like around 96, 97, I started rooting for the Steelers, and it crushed me when they lost to the Cowboys, of all teams, in the Super Bowl.
Man, that's crazy you say that. My dad's always telling me about Cordell Stewart, and he's like, you should have seen this guy. I'm like, Dad, have you seen the athletes nowadays? Like, it's not even close. But, I mean, that's hilarious, Seven. Growing up watching Barry Sanders, my dad watched Barry Sanders too. I'm shocked that you didn't get looped into the Detroit Lions fan base, but that was probably going to be arguably worse for you. Besides the last 5 years, it would have been worse.
I have foresight.
Exactly.
A lot of wisdom.
But I agree with you about Tomlin, too. It's like, I've always been on board these last few years. It's like, we talk about him as a great head coach, and he obviously hasn't had the quarterback play, and I've always said, like, you're going to talk about him as a Hall of Fame guy, but he can't win in the playoffs, especially these last few years. And people talk about him adopting this Steelers team that was pre-built. A lot of people like to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. And Tomlin obviously is at least the leader of men, and people respect him, which is great. And that, for me, is a lot of coaching. And the play on the field comes down to the players at the end of the day. Like, coaching matters,
Yes.
but if you're losing in the wild card, I don't think it's completely coaching. You know what I mean? I think maybe we relax on the narrative of, like, he's the greatest coach of our era. Obviously, Belichick's up there, but maybe he's not as good as people pin him out to be, but he's still a really good Hall of Fame coach at the end of the day, right? So it's kind of hard. Again, you got to pick your battles, but that was a wrap, Seven. I appreciate you joining on. I'm going to have to get you on before the season ends again, but as always, man, it's good to see you. I appreciate you joining me.
Hey, I'm free on Mondays. Give me the call. I'm in the bullpen warming up. Just give me a call, and I'm there, man. I appreciate you. I'm just happy to be a part of your growth, man, and just to witness the great human being that you've become. And it feels like I can go back down IG and look at those baby
For
JB
sure.
photos, and I'm like, who was I recording with? No, you know. So it's full circle, man. And anything I can do to just help you grow and to push you and push your brand, I'm always with it. You know, I'm always repping, and not just on the screen. I wear this out in public, so
He does.
I'm keeping it real. I'll be in the gym pumping iron to this. So it's always love, it's always respect, and hopefully you and your family are well, man.
I appreciate that, Seven. Likewise. We'll talk soon.
All right, take care, man. Peace.